Hey everybody, I'm Richard, the IT guy, and get ready because it's time for Diamond DIY. Hey everybody. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a DIY project where we're going to be testing a common car part that fails a lot. Now, I had some issues with my car, and if you guys seen my other videos, I had some hesitation going on with my car, and through my research found that one of the problems could be the EGR valve or the EGR solenoid. They pretty much use the terms interchangeable, but that is what this piece is right here on my car. I have a 2014 Kia Soul. Maybe my green screen's acting up a little bit maybe. And so what I wanted to do is that, as you guys probably heard in the intro, I have a background in IT. And I found that testing things, of course, is the best way to go to find out what's really wrong. So I used to work on my cars, things like that. I haven't worked on this one because it's a new car, but it was new in 2014. It's at the point where now I have to start working on it myself, as I see. And so I try to apply the same principles that I do in the IT world, and pretty much that you should do anywhere. If something's wrong, find out what the cause is. Once you find out what the cause is, or should I say the way you find that out is by testing. Okay, try to narrow down the problem, and if possible, test the components before you go replace something or possibly damage something. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. So you had a list here of everything that you need. You need, of course, your EGR valve. Okay, you need a 9-volt battery, just a regular 9-volt battery. You need alligator clips, and that's these two right here. As you can see, I have a wire hanging from this. This is a 10 amp wire right here, and that's because, of course, the alligator clips, that's what they are rated for, and you want to make sure that you have enough power going to this to make whatever happens whatever needs to happen. Okay, so like I say, alligator clips, your wire, whatever amp that it needs to be, just make sure it's correct. All right, and most importantly, you need a vacuum pump. All right, so I got this from AutoZone, or you can get it from Advanced Auto Parts. Basically, most places have the loaner program, and since I don't like spending money for stuff, hardly ever, I pretty much just got this, as you can see right now, you know, so it does everything. I did all my testing, take it back, get my money back. All right, kind of do it like that. So when I need it, go there and get it. Now, if you're doing this enough, because this is a very powerful tool, if you're doing this enough, I would suggest you just go ahead and just buy it. Just buy it. It's only like about $40-something, okay? And you would definitely get your use out of it if you find it's something that you're already renting all the time anyway. All right. So as you can see, there's a hose at the end of it, and then it has the gauge right here that's going to tell you, you know, what's going on. All right. So as you can see, it's at 0 right now, and if I try to pump this up, as you can see, nothing's happening because the other end is open, so there's no vacuum. Now if I put my finger on here and I pump it up, you see how it's going up, and it just stays, right? So this is sealed, right? So vacuuming is pulling, right? It's pulling. If there's no way for the air to come in, vacuum, pull in, right? Then it's going to just stay there, right? But the minute that I let go, of course it's going to go like that, all right? So same thing with your EGR valve. You have gases in your car that are basically circulating around, or evaporative gases they call it. That's what is it? I will put the total name in the description, but it deals with your evaporative gases. All right, so you have one tube normally that's going to go down to your intake. All right, and that's where the vacuum comes from. It's going to pull, or should I say, all those gases are coming up on the other side of intake through like your exhaust system and everything, and it's coming back up in to this other tube right here. And what it does is that in here blocks off those gases from getting back into the system until the intake pulls forward, okay, until the intake makes that vacuum. All right, and what should I say, the intake is always making the vacuum. The key piece of what we're testing here is that the mechanism inside that cuts this off and goes, you know, it does it in intervals. It does this like a whole lot of times. It's basically done by the programming of the car. But basically it's that part that's causing the issue if it's bad. All right, so think about it as far as you breathing. Another YouTuber, when I was researching, gave an excellent example, and I'm putting all the links to their videos in here too. You can go on our playlist, because a lot of great YouTubers out there. Thank you very much. Helped me research this particular issue and figure out how to test it correctly with minimal parts and minimal costs. Okay, something that you can regenerate on other things as well too. All right, but back to the explanation here though, is that so that mechanism that does that, it's going back and forth, it's cutting it on and off, so it's letting gas in and out. So that vacuum, right, is being closed on and off by this particular component right here. So the way that we test this is to see, is this actually doing what it's supposed to do on the inside, right? How do we do that? We have to put a vacuum on it, right, our vacuum pump, and then we're going to put some power onto it, which is going to replicate your car sending a signal to this for it to open, all right, and let that vacuum go through, okay? If it doesn't happen or there's an issue, then we know that it's bad, right? So that's how we're going to test it. So as you can see, when we did the vacuum pump, it held the vacuum, okay? So in this case of this, because to my understanding, different ones work different ways, but basically this one is closed right now, so nothing can go through. If we hook this up, we're going to see that it's going to hold the vacuum, right? That needle is going to stay up. It'll go up once we pump, and it'll stay there, okay, until we release the air out, right? So the vacuum is good, right? Whenever we put power to it, what we want to see is we want to see that air come out, okay? Like I said, replicating the car sending a signal to open it up. Now, of course, in the car, that would pull it going through the system, right? So it's going to be a continuous vacuum that's going circulating around through in the system, right? But in order to test it, we're replicating it the same way, just outside of the car, all right? So what we want to do is, like I said, you have your alligator clips. Have two of them, right? Because on the inside of here, there's two little pins on the inside that you have to clip this to, okay? And so let me show you here. If you have not worked with alligator clips, that's these little clips right here, okay? And in the back of it is a little hole which you strip your outside coating of your wire off. And what I do is I just shove it right on in there, right? Until it feels nice and snug. You want to make sure it's getting contact, there we go, with the metal part of the alligator clip, all right? So now we have our wire connected to our alligator clip, all right? We've done that for both of these, all right? So we're going to hook up one to one side. We're going to hook up the other to the other side. You might have to just shove it on in there a little bit. It's all right. It's okay. All right. So now that we've done that, we want to hook our vacuum up to your downside, or should I say the side of the EGR that's going to the intake, right? That's vacuum, that's pulling it down, all right? Not the side that it's going to be coming into, which is up here, all right? So just find out on yours if it's a little different, figure out which one is which, but the one that's going to the intake, that's where the vacuum is coming from. You want to connect your vacuum pump to that side, okay? And sorry if my hair is cutting off here a little bit, all right? So what we want to do now is we take our vacuum here. You notice it's staying, right? Because remember, it's closed right now, right? There's no electricity on it, and that's closed state for this particular valve, right? So just like when I had my finger on it, it's holding. You see it's not going anywhere, right? Which is good. That's what this is supposed to do, all right? So mine is working correctly, all right? Which is why this was a good thing, because I would end up replacing it and it's good, all right? So what we want to do now is we're going to take these two leads at the other end of the wires. Yeah, but I just popped my wire out here because I have to stay real nice and steady here, guys. Alright. And we're going to take our 9-volt battery. Yeah, excuse me guys, it's a little hot in here. I'm doing this in my little storage area. Alright, and as you can see, let's see if we can get a better setup here, because I need you guys to see this really good. Hold on. Okay. Alright, had to do a little adjusting there, guys, so I'm back. Alright, so now you see this gauge here, right? And we're going to take a 9-volt battery and just tap this on. Y'all gotta forgive me here because this is a little awkward trying to do this like this so that you can see it. But as you can see, let's pump this up. Alright. Right? We touch these. Yeah. That's it. It's a little tricky, y'all. But of course, you won't have to hold everything so people can see on the camera, so it'll be a lot easier. But watch this. So you see how that just went down just like that? Let's try to do it again. Pump it up. And that's what we want, right? We want to let the air out, which is simulating it going right back into the car, right back into the system, like it's supposed to, right? There we go. All right, so again, I know I did a lot of talking, but hopefully that helped a lot. Like I said, this is how to test your EGR valve to make sure that it's good before you go buy one, okay? A picture of at least mine, like I said, I have a 2014 Kia Soul. Here is where mine is. And yours might be in a different spot. That's okay. But basically you're looking for something, like I said, like this one that I'm showing you here. At the end of the video here, I'm going to put a couple pictures of what other types of EGR valves look like. And basically, like I said, we're testing the electronic ones. We have ones that are older, which the same principle, but you can test those a little easier because there's like a release or a hole at the bottom that you can push on, and it'll basically simulate it cutting on and off. Like I said, that switch turning on and off, closing and opening. So just find out which one, but those are easier if you can get to it with you know, relative ease. But if you have an electronic one, then you're going to either have to use the steps that I showed you right here, or there's another type of electronic one that has, it's like a 5-pin type of connector to it. If you can happen to get a hold of one of those connector pieces, the new ones that they give you, the other ends of those wires, of course, are cut because you're supposed to twist them in and connect them into your car with the existing wiring. So if you can get a hold of one of those, it'd be a lot easier because you could just connect it onto, hold it and keep it. Another recommendation by a YouTuber, that since they give them in the new ones, if you ever happen to have to change one and you have one, just keep that connector piece. If you don't have to use it, because you might be able to use the previous one, and use that as your tester piece. Otherwise, you can still use the same concept, just find out what is your power leads out of the 5. You're going to have 2 that you're going to have to connect to, right? So those are the ones that you want to find out where they are on your EGR solenoid, and do the same thing pretty much that we just did here. You're going to do the same thing, all right? Like I said, except yours is just 5 pins, so figure out which 2 you have to connect to for the power piece, or I think maybe even 1 that you can connect to. Just make sure that you're grounding everything so that you don't short out your valve, all right? I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, we try to do things that help empower you to be the best DIYer that you can be. Look for more DIY videos here on the Diamond Broadcast channel. And I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our foundations that we work with. If you see right here by background, I'm a little green screen, is I'm a Voice for Epilepsy. It's an excellent foundation. They are bringing awareness about epilepsy, and they're just doing some really great things. So if you want to know more about them, look in the description. I'll be putting a link to their website so that you can reach out and talk to them too. So again, guys, I hope this helped. If you have any recommendations, let us know, because that's what we're here for. We like to take your recommendations, and we like to find out and do all the hard work for you and find out how to make these things happen, all right? So we're not just tied into one thing. We like to be across the board, because we like to let you guys pick what we're going to do next, okay? So I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, any suggestions on how to make this testing better, put it down in the comments, all right? Also, hit subscribe if you liked the video today, and hit like, all right? If you didn't like it, hit that you didn't like it, all right? Either way, fine. I just want to make sure that we're getting your feedback, all right? Thanks again, and we'll see you next time, all right?